And I'm back. So we finally reached it. We're at the end. It's over. It's done. The Falcon The Winter Soldier miniseries is over. It's done. The final episode aired on Friday, and I watched it. So let's do a quick summary and do a quick review of the series in general. So, welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
So I hope everybody had a great weekend. Mine was interesting in a way. I was busy. I had a bunch of plans that got canceled, so that kind of sucked. But overall, I can't complain. But I need to get this out of the way. I did watch the newest Mortal Kombat movie. I saw it also on Friday. No, I saw it on Saturday, I think. Yeah, I saw it on Saturday. So I will be doing a review for that. So I'll be doing a review for Mortal Kombat later on in the week. I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or Wednesday. And I want to... Well, I'll save this one for later because it's an interesting topic. But also, I guess before we get into it, I did not see the Oscars. Not at all. Not for a second, because I hadn't really seen any of the movies there. And so to me, the Oscars are pretty much dead. It's movies that nobody cares about. I didn't care about, so I didn't watch a single second. And after hearing the review that the morning show did today, I don't feel like I missed anything. So yeah, to me, the Oscars are dead. Or at least not noteworthy, so I'm just going to skip that completely. Because I don't care. And I don't think anybody out there in my audience cares. So there you go. In case you were wondering if I'm going to talk about the Oscars or not at all. The answer is no. Anyway, before I get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch. I'm aiming for kind of 2 p.m. Today I had some issues with my monitor. He kind of nicked me a little. So let's just say it took a little bit longer than it usually takes. But that's it. So yeah, 2 p.m. If you want to join me there, like, subscribe. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it, helping the channel grow. I kind of already have some plans in the works. I had to talk some business today. Also, oh yeah, I think I should mention this. I kind of have a blog now. The radio station Rock 105.3. I have a blog of that. My first post is going to be a review for this. So basically, I'm just going to load the video of the podcast. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. But it's supposed to be a blog, so whenever I want to write something, I guess I'll write it there. I'll let you guys know. I'm not that big of a writer. I write too much at work already. I have to do like a summary of everything that happened. I don't really feel like doing it, but I'll do videos, and I'll complain. I like complaining a lot, so maybe every once in a while I'll put my thoughts, pen to paper, whatever. Doesn't matter. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into this. So we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the series finale. It's supposed to be a mini season, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere else. It did leave itself with a bit of room to grow, but not that much. So let me as always, let's do the quick summary here. Let's just see. I got to be careful because I get in trouble if I have to play this stuff. I think if I do GIFs, it should be fine. I'm going to have to explore that. I'm going to explore the option of starting to do GIFs. And I'll see how it works with copyright. So I'll be testing that out in the future in case you care. But all right, let's get into this. So the episode begins exactly where the other one ends, with the Flag Smashers taking over the UNSC or whatever. I forget their names. I don't really care. The organization that's supposed to be settling where all the refugees are going to go. So it starts with that. They're taking over. The cops are showing up, and at the same time, Falcon arrives there. The Winter Soldier arrives there. Everybody's arriving on scene. And somehow Agent 13 is there. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Agent 13 is Sharon Carter. I'm going to call her Agent 13 or Sharon, probably. Anyway, so she's on scene. And it's weird that she's there because she's actually a wanted fugitive. She's a traitor to our country, supposedly. And so she kind of just brushes that off as like, yeah, nobody's looking for me here. And nobody finds it weird that she's there immediately. Like the last time that we saw her, she was in Manticore. And now all of a sudden, before the Falcon got there from Louisiana and before the Winter Soldier got there from who knows where, I think he was, I want to say he was already in New York, but I don't know. But yeah, before anybody else could get there, she was already there. So, and nobody found this weird, which is the weirder part, but whatever. So she talks to Bucky. They make a little plan, and the meantime, the Flag Smashers, they get their plan into motion. So they want to evacuate this particular room, and that's when Falcon shows up in his new armor suit, and so now he's not the Falcon anymore. He's Captain America. Now, this is going to be extremely confusing for me to say, so I'm just going to keep calling him Falcon for now, and I'll break down my thoughts on that later. Quick note about the suit. I don't like the color scheme. I don't like all the white on the shoulders. I know that's an homage to the original Falcon suit that from one from the comic books, but it's red and white up top. I'm not crazy for it. I don't like it, especially when he's kind of a dude that's supposed to be a little bit stealth. So I would have used a darker color, but whatever. That's everything else seems fine. Moving on. So Falcon shows up and he beats up one of the Flag Smashers. Remember, these dudes super soldier and he's not. And he tells people like, "Hey, all of you senators or whatever, get out of here." And that's when he ends up encountering. There's not an image of it here, is there? Oh, well, whatever. He ends up encountering the French dude that he fought in the beginning of the series. Let me see if I can find an image of him. Let's see. There's got to be something where he gets down. God damn it. Maybe here. Oh, nope. Doesn't matter. Oh, well. I guess that's one of the risks of doing it this way. So he ends up getting in a fight with that dude, the French dude. Anyway, so in the meantime, Winter Soldier, he's trying to get in. Oh, there you go. French dude. So he shows up, and they start having a fight. So remember, one of my biggest complaints about this show is that Falcon's always getting his ass kicked, or he's having a lot of issues dealing with normal dudes. Now, this is not a knock on Falcon. This is a knock on the writers, who kind of just decided to nerf him. Now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier have dealt with a Chitauri invasion. Well, not the Chitauri. They dealt with the army of Thanos. So they're experienced fighters. We know the level that they can, take care of. We know that they're on par against aliens and they could hold their own. And now he's having an issue with the French dude, so they completely nerfed them. So it's not a complaint about the character being sucking. It's the complaint about the writers making the character suck. Because there's no chance in hell that a normal French dude should be just like a goon, nameless goon. I don't even think this character has a name. And if he does, I don't remember it. So like this nameless nobody should be going toe to toe with the Falcon. It makes no sense, especially when the Falcon has what we're assuming is vibranium armor and he's using Captain America's shield. Makes no sense. In fact, there's one point in this fight, and we probably won't get it, so I'll tell you that Falcon throws the shield directly at the guy and he just blocks it with his arms like it's nothing. And then kicks like a chair at Falcon. And like no reaction. Didn't break his arms. Didn't do nothing. So it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so they start doing the little mini boss fight. In the meantime, Winter Soldier is like, all right, all I got to do. He recognizes one of the terrorists. And instead of going immediately to go stop the terrorist, he starts talking on the phone because one random person tells him like, hey, Carly's talking to you. And so he starts talking on the phone with Carly. Clearly a distraction. Clearly being delayed, but he doesn't think of it that way. I guess he's still trying to save her for unknown reasons. Honestly, I have no idea. Oh, it makes a little bit more sense for Winter Soldier to be trying to save her because like he's a reformed killer and it's like maybe I can reform her. Still doesn't make much sense. I'm like he knows that there's an active terrorist attack on the works and he saw one of them. He knows that there's like senators with a super soldier right now, terrorist super soldier, but he's like, I'll just talk on the phone a little bit, see how my boo's doing. Anyway, Carly and them afterwards like, haha, I distracted you, and Winter Soldier's like, God damn it. So, in the meantime, Agent 13 follows these dudes. He can tell that she can see that she adds something to their trucks there, their evacuation trucks. In the meantime, Falcon's again having to shoot the French dude. Like I said, complete waste of time there. Then Agent 13 stumbles onto that super soldier dude, adds like a little, I think they called it a hydrogen bomb or something. And so that dude basically dies. So the only useful character so far has been Agent 13. And throughout the series, the only useful characters have been Zemo and Agent 13. And they do not get enough screen time, so whatever. Moving on. Yeah, like I said, the writers have been doing a massive disservice to Falcon and to Winter Soldier because they keep making them chumps who get their asses kicked, and the only actual useful characters are the secondary ones. Again, she took out a super soldier immediately, like nothing. She was actually on on the job. And it's funny because she actually, afterwards, she calls out the Winter Soldier, is like, dude, you had one job. You had one job. What the hell are you doing? And it's one of those things where it's like, thank you. This has been the entire series. They just keep failing at whatever job that they have. And again, not the fault of the characters, the fault of the writers, because the writers are the ones that make them fail. Anyway, moving on. So Falcon continues fighting the French dude, like I said, and they notice that there's a helicopter full. Again, there's a helicopter that's being taken by the terrorists with more senators, and that's when Bucky and Falcon are like, all right, so Bucky's like, all right, I'll take the ones on the ground, you take the ones on the air for obvious reasons, and there you go. That's where everybody decides to go. That's their plan. Falcon finally kind of beats the French dude, but at least let's say he manages to escape the French dude. Again, he could not take down the French dude, okay? He could not, a nameless, no super soldier character, and he could not take him down. This is the Falcon / Captain America, and he could not take down a nameless French random dude who didn't have a weapon. So, also, ridiculous that he did not have a weapon. Or it's just plain out ridiculous. This is the ridiculous thing about the villains here. How the hell are you not armed to your teeth? You're taking on superheroes. But anyway, let's move on. Maybe they needed to not have weapons in order to infiltrate the building. Still stupid. Anyway, moving on. So, there's this big chase scene, and Falcon's having issue with the pilot. And actually, that thing was sort of okay, except that helicopters, there's no way a helicopter could ever fly that way. Ever. In a million, especially, like, it looks like a commercial helicopter, so never, ever, ever would happen. But, it makes for exciting TV, so whatever. We get to see Falcon use his tech and recognize that there's a pilot in there, so he makes his own little plan, and we get to see how his tech hacks the phone of the lady and so he can text her. It's actually pretty cool. Like, honestly, that part was interesting. Then we see the Flag Smashers. They're talking about their plan, and it's really interesting here because Carly doesn't really have a plan, and the plan that she has is kind of imploding. And the other people are not kind of cool with it, but they go with her anyway. This is something that I've been complaining about throughout the show. In fact, they hesitate to join her. She's not a good leader. She was never a good leader. She was never charismatic. She never had a good plan. She was never smart enough. She was never nothing. She's a terrible villain. And for some reason, I still don't get, these dudes and ladies, this group is willing to die for her for reasons. I don't know what the reason is. There's no valid reason why they keep following her around, because her plan's stupid. You know why her plan's stupid? Because he doesn't have one. And basically, her plan right now at this point is just going Leroy Jenkins and just going out in a blaze of glory. If they manage to take out all the senators and stuff, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. She's been a terrible villain throughout, and I don't understand why her followers are following her. It makes no sense. Anyway, moving on. So everybody hesitates, and she's like, come on, bitches. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll follow you one last time. We're still following you. We continue having this chase scene. Falcon, there's a weird thing with the clipping of a helicopter, which it's nuts. But again, it makes for exciting TV. I'll allow it. If it makes for exciting TV, I'll allow it. I mean, action sequences are supposed to be kind of ridiculous. So then we got the Flag Smashers that block the blockade, the senators, and they take the Falcon shows up, and he's gonna get in the fight. And this fight is interesting in a way. So the Winter Soldier's outnumbered, but Captain America shows up, and he wants to get into the fight too. So it's 2 super soldiers against 4, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5. So it's 2 against 4. It's a pretty interesting fight. The sequence is okay. There's a few things that I have issues with, but overall it's fine. I don't understand why. Okay, so when Bucky shows up and he's kind of winning the fight, they're like, we need to distract him. So let's set this car on fire. And so it's an armored truck. Setting it on fire is really not going to do much. It's an armored vehicle. It's supposed to withstand that stuff. And I don't know why Bucky would immediately be like, all right, well, I guess I gotta stop fighting this dude who wants to kill me. And I don't know. The logic there was weird, but again, fighting sequences, action sequences, forgivable. They're meant to be somewhat ridiculous. And so Bucky manages to free the dudes. They continue the fight. The fight continues. Falcon flying around. He manages to rescue the helicopter in what seems like by the way, doesn't matter. honestly, there's a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter. That are ridiculous that I'll just skip just to go to the story stuff. Here we have, well, I keep calling him Captain America, but he's not Captain America. John Walker is clearly not completely there in his head, and so he's having issues beating up Carly for some reason. And Carly, she was never set up as this badass fighter. Now remember, this dude, John Walker, is a 4-time Medal of Honor winner. Okay, dude is a badass fighter. At least he should be, and he's having issues with Carly now. Normally, I'd be like, okay, maybe Carly's a badass, but they never established her as one. In fact, we've seen them fight before, and normal John Walker was somewhat defending himself. He managed to at least walk away alive. So Carly going toe-to-toe with him doesn't really make much sense here, but I don't know, maybe she had training. Well, sure, maybe, whatever maybe I put there is not going to make much sense, so I'm just going to not even try to justify that one. They just want to prolong the fight. Anyway, so she manages to kind of subdue Captain America. Well, John Walker there. This is going to be really difficult to continue keeping that. And John Walker, maybe it's because he's foggy in the head. He's like, I lost my best friend, and I'm like angry and stuff like that. Maybe. Anyway, so the fight continues, and it's actually a pretty legit fight. And so at the end of the day, Falcon kind of shows up to save the senators that the truck was about to fall off a cliff or whatever, or off of a building, basically. So They manage to save the day, or at least the truck, and then it's set up, for the fight. You got the Winter Soldier, you got Falcon, and you got John Walker, and they're setting up to fight the 4 terrorists that are left. So you got Carly and her 3 goons, and they're ready for a fight, right? And as they're getting, in the meantime, people's like, "Yay, look at that! It's the new Captain America." And so as they're getting ready for this fight, a bunch of like smoke starts pouring out of everywhere. And it turns out that it's actually the French dude. You remember the French? Let's see. I don't think there's gonna be an image of him, but it's the French dude who Falcon failed to beat up. He showed up there with what looks like a grenade launcher, but I guess it's like a smoke grenade launcher, and he just started throwing it. So how he'd get there, who knows? How he get the grenade launcher, who knows? There's a bunch of logistic stuff that I'm like, how this dude was in a building surrounded by police, but he managed to get out, get a weapon, and arrive exactly where everybody else is. All right, okay, fine, whatever. Like, that French dude is a badass for somebody who doesn't really have a name. Moving on, so the terrorists go into this tunnel or whatever into this building, and they start running away, and they decide, all right, we're going to separate. So Carly goes one way, and the French dude goes another way, and the other 3 dudes go another way. And so as they're chasing them around, the Falcon, John Walker, and the Winter Soldier said, all right, they split up, so we need to split up too. Now, you would think that if you see 3 dudes going one way and 1 person going another way, you would split up in a way that's kind of smart. You got 2 super soldiers and you got a normal dude. So a highly trained, highly skilled, and with vibranium armor somewhat dude. So you would think that the smartest thing to do would be, you don't want John Walker to go off by himself, right? Because John Walker might just go off on a killing spree. So, all right. So what we want to do is, what I'd do is I'd send John Walker in with the Falcon, right? But no, here they decide to send John Walker and Bucky. So the 2 super soldiers go in the same direction, and they send Falcon off by himself against the super soldier, which, if you're going to be a superhero, is a fight you should win. However, throughout the series, it's been clear that Falcon can't even take care of a nameless French dude. So, let's say the math doesn't really add up there, but whatever, they're taking a risk. Sure. Moving on. So they start chasing after these dudes, and as Carly's running around, she hears like a whistle. And so when she goes to check out the whistle, it turns out that it's Agent 13, but it turns out that it's actually not Agent 13. They start talking, and it's here we learn that Agent 13 is actually the power broker. And so she's been manipulating everything, from the shadows and all that stuff. And she's trying to convince Carly to go back to work with her because, she's the only super soldier left. And let me tell you something. This is the dumbest twist I've ever seen in my entire life. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. And let me explain why. So, if you guys remember, and you know what? I might actually have images of this. I'm gonna look it up real quick. So, if you guys remember, back in episode, what was it, 3? Maybe episode 4. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'm gonna go through my images real quick because I think I saved them because The episode was so dumb that I just went through it really quickly. Anyway, back in Manticore. Do I have an image of it? Do I have it? What is this? What the hell is this? What am I seeing? Yeah, okay. So back in Manticore, I do have images of Manticore. So back in Manticore, there were when the Falcon the Winter Soldier met up with one of the agents of the Power Broker, they killed her, right? So they killed they didn't kill her. Somebody killed her randomly, and that set up a whole bunch of shenanigans, right? So here's the sequence of events. So we're assuming that it was Agent 13, and afterwards, after they're running for their lives and they're chasing them or whatever, they meet up with Agent 13, and so Agent 13 starts helping them. So we're assuming that it was Sharon Carter who killed them. So now we know that Sharon Carter is the Power Broker, all right? So if Sharon Carter is the Power Broker, why would she kill her own agent? Let's assume that she killed her own agent in order for Falcon and the Winter Soldier to fall into her lap, right? However, I mean, Falcon the Winter Soldier falling into her lap also means that she could have just done that anyway through other means. I mean, she didn't really need to save them. They already owe her a lot. I've talked about this a lot. They already owe this character a lot. They screwed her over a lot. And so I don't know what the plan was there. And it gets even more ridiculous. So, you know, they have this whole plan, all this stuff, and Falcon asks her for help, like, hey, could you get us the name of the scientist dude? All right, so she manages to she gets them the name of the scientist dude, and she tells them where to find the scientist dude. So, here's where things get ridiculous. Agent 13, the Power Broker, says to Carly over here, let me see if I can get this up again. So, she's the one that tells Agent 13 that, the plan for the super soldiers went out the window in this particular scene. So it's out the window. She's moving on to something else, right? Here's the issue. Oh, actually, I don't think she tells her. I think that's at the end, but whatever. Here's the issue. So Sharon Carter sends the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on the path to the scientist that can make the super soldier serum. However, she's the Power Broker, so they're making the super soldier serum for her. So she wants the super soldier serum, and she's sending two superheroes and the dude who hates superpowered beings to her lab where they make the super soldier serum. Are you starting to see how things don't make sense here? So I'm the Power Broker, and my big money's I managed to find a way to create super soldier serum, and I found a guy who can make the super soldier serum. So I made 20 vials for some reason. I only made 20. And then they got stolen. It's like, motherfuckers, they stole my 20 vials. It's fine. You know what? Doesn't matter. I still got the golden goose. I still got the scientist who can make the thing, and I still got the lab. So we're still good to go. Right? Here, bear with me now. All of a sudden, Falcon and the Winter Soldier show up with Zemo. And you know Zemo's rep because you were part of the other movie, so you know Zemo's rep. You know how he hates super soldiers and all that stuff. And so these three show up at your doorstep, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to kill my own agent, and I'm going to send them in my direction. Because the agent's the one that gives them the name of the scientist. But whatever. So she then acquires, she's like, all right, okay. So they know who the scientist is. I'm going to send them to the lab. And as I send them to the lab, I'm going to get all my henchmen to start attacking the lab at the same time. And also trying to kill me. So she's killing her own henchmen for some weird reason. And as she's killing her own henchmen, she leaves them alone with the golden goose. She leaves them alone. Again, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, fine, whatever. But Zemo, dude who hates super soldiers. And, okay, so what happens? Zemo kills him. So, your plan was, I'm going to tell them where the lab is. I'm going to basically introduce him to the guy. And I'm going to get my guy killed. And afterwards, I'm going to be like, the plan for super soldier serum's out the window. How fucking stupid does she have to be? Like, if she's going to be like this badass villain or whatever, this smart villain or this talented whatever, not a good start. Terrible start. They made her out to be the biggest idiot in the world because she had the super soldier serum and it got stolen by Carly. And then she had the dude who can make the super soldier serum and he got killed by the dudes that she sent there. And she didn't have to send them. I don't see the benefit of sending them in there. None whatsoever. Nothing. Nada. And I know what a lot of you were thinking, like, hey, maybe the reason why she sent them there is because she wanted to gain their trust. By the way, it's a huge gamble to gain somebody's trust. I would have just put an actor in there. Like, if I know if my scientist in my lab is over there, I would have set up a fake lab and put up a fake actor there, and they'd be like, haha, well, now they think that the lab's gone, but it's still, I got the formula, right? But no, that's not what she did. She sent them to the actual lab with the actual dude. The dude gets killed, and then she's like, oh no, how could this be? How could my super soldier serum plan go out the window, especially when I said dudes with fucking bazookas to blow the lab up? It makes absolutely no fucking sense, and it's really annoying. So, yeah, so her plan's really stupid. And okay, so let's say she wanted to gain their trust, but she already had their trust, okay? They already trusted her because they kind of screwed her over. If she wanted to be like, hey, you know what? I can still help you to capture the terrorist, because she could. She could help them to catch the terrorist in other ways, because she could still find out via remember this, the scientist knew the name of the girl what's her name, Carly, wanted for help. So she could have just given them that name, and they could have gone off in that direction. There was no need to send them to the lab. Whatever, doesn't matter. It annoys me. Stuff like that annoys me. Little things like that annoy me. When I'm not gonna beat a dead horse on this one. The point is, this is the dumbest plot twist that they could have ever done. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. They're ruining a character, ruining the story. It makes no fucking sense. This whole story's been fucking forced from the beginning. Anyway, moving on. So they have this conversation, and then all of a sudden the French dude shows up, and the French dude is like, so you're the power broker, and the power broker hired me to be here? Well, guess what, power broker? Now my price has gone up 4 times. Otherwise, I'd tell everybody who you are. So first off, I don't know why he knows who Sharon Carter is or whatever, but fine, okay, I guess. And then Sharon Carter's like, I don't negotiate with terrorists, even though I fund terrorists, but I don't negotiate with them. And so she kills them. So this is a very ridiculous situation, because you got Carly, a super soldier, pointing a gun at you, right? She's right in front of you, and she's pointing her gun right at you. Then the French dude shows up and points a gun at her. And so he's like, all right, now you gotta pay me 4 times the money. And you, Sharon Carter, with a gun pointed at you by a super soldier who kind of wants to kill you, decide, you know what, I don't negotiate with terrorists, or I don't do blackmail, and you shoot the French guy. Then, naturally, she gets shot by Carly, because when somebody shoots a gun in front of you, you tend to shoot him back. It's just, call it a reflex or a force of habit. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, she shoots the French guy. Now, I don't know about you. Call me crazy. But maybe what I would have done is wait to shoot the French guy afterwards. You don't have to pay him. You can be like, sure, 4 times, whatever. In fact, 5 times if you take Carly in. If you put cuffs on her or whatever, and we take and you bring her back to my shop in Manticore. And the dude would be like, fuck yeah, 5 times, whatever. And then you kill him. And then you'd be like, yeah, I don't take blackmail. You don't shoot him when the guy's pointing a gun at the girl who's pointing a gun at you. That's just, it's not smart. Let's just say it's not smart strategy. But anyway, Sharon Carter gets shot, and the French dude, she shoots the French dude, and then Sharon Carter gets shot. So far, the count is Sharon Carter took down a super soldier by herself, and she took down the French dude that Falcon was not able to beat in the entire show. Moving on. So the Falcon shows up, and he sees that Carly shot Sharon Carter. And so his logic there is, all right, I walked up, my friend just got shot, this super soldier chick has a gun, she just shot her, and she's pointing a gun at her, I'm going to negotiate. So he starts talking to her. And while he's trying to talk to her and calm her down, Carly just keeps attacking her. Like, just flat up attacking her. Oh, okay, I guess I went too far for that. So he's just going after him. Like, I'm going to kill you. In the meantime, the other dudes, the other terrorist dudes that were kind of running away, they got stopped in the dumbest way possible. So you remember, you got 3 terrorists, 3 super soldiers who are kind of running away, and they're following the directions of an app. And so as they're running away, they get intercepted very calmly by John Walker and the Winter Soldier, and then they get surrounded by cops, and they're like, oh, we submit. And as they're being stopped, the Winter Soldier's like, hey, this app's super useful, like, and meaning that they sent these dudes to a trap. Now, why they hadn't used that app before, I don't know. Like, they could have used it this entire time. They could have just tracked them that way the entire time, but they didn't. How did they hack it? I don't know, because supposedly these dudes are a group of hackers, but I'm assuming assuming they're also a bunch of morons, or maybe they're just the muscle and there's the real hackers are somewhere else. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But the point is, this was a major whack whack moment because three terrorists got captured, and the two super soldiers. You would think that a 2-on-3 fight between all superpowered beings would be epic, right? You would imagine a a Winter Soldier with John Walker taking on 3 super soldier terrorists would be epic and would be fun to see. Well, the tough noogies, you're not going to see that. They just get captured immediately and they give up. All right, so fine, whatever. In the meantime, so Carly's trying to beat down on the Falcon. The Falcon's still trying to talk to her, and she points a gun at him. I don't know why the Falcon really, really, really wanted to talk to this chick. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if a person points a gun at me, I'm assuming they don't want to talk anymore, especially if they just shot my friend. You know, it's like, yeah, you shot my friend. She's right there. She's bleeding. If I hadn't come here, you probably would have killed her. That seems like a good point to throw down. Now, my mom always told me you should never really punch a woman, but still, I mean, if they shoot your friend and they got a gun and they're a super soldier and they're trying to kill you, there's a point where you just gotta be like, dude, fight back a little bit, just a little bit. Anyway, so Carly points this gun at him, and the Winter Soldier is like, no, I'm not, I'm, all right, shoot me, whatever. Shoot me, bitch, I dare you. You're not a killer. And so since she's a killer, she is ready to shoot her. But before she shoots him, Agent Carter shoots her, and Carly dies. So she gets shot by Agent Carter. So again, Agent Carter killed one super soldier, killed the head of the super soldier terrorists, and took down the French shooter that the Falcon could never beat throughout the show. Just adding stuff up. In the math of useful characters here, Falcon didn't do much. And it's really annoying because it's a real disservice to the fucking character. And Winter Soldier and John Walker just basically did a app trap. They basically catfished the other 3 terrorists into getting captured. So there you go. In the end, Carly dies, and she never really tells Sam that Agent Carter is actually a double agent. She's actually the power broker, but whatever. I mean, could be like the final FU to him or whatever. It's like, all right, you're gonna get blown up, bitch. And then Falcon takes her dead body and delivers it in front of the cameras and the news or whatever. So again, doing the math here, carrying a dead terrorist to police custody, or taking your shot friend to the hospital or anywhere that she could get medical attention. She's bleeding. She got shot to help you. And you're taking the dead whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. You know what? She can fucking walk, right? She only got shot in the stomach. Moving on. So they take her body or whatever. It's not clear. The fact that they put her in a gurney makes it not clear if she's dead or not. And so Falcon, now Winter Soldier, Falcon, now Captain America, having this conversation in front of cameras with the senators about what you can do with all these people and blah blah, and what if they're still planning on continuing on with their plan. This is one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard in my life. It's ridiculous. It's all heart, no logic, and no brains whatsoever. So I'll let you know how it starts. So the lady there, I don't know if she's a senator too. I know that this dude's a senator, but I don't know if she's a senator too. But the lady there says something about the word terrorist. And then Falcon says, you got to stop using these labels like terrorist and blah, blah, blah. Words mean something. And so all right, here's the thing. The word terrorist basically means a person who commits an act of violence for a political purpose. So correct me if I'm wrong. Carly killed people, and her purpose was a political one. So she's really perfectly fits the label of terrorist here. And so what Falcon is saying is, don't call terrorists just because they're terrorists. Labels are bad. No, you call somebody a terrorist when they commit acts of terror. Labels are... listen, there's one situation where labels are a bad thing, and that's when you're not using them correctly. Words mean something. So if you start... like, every single word's a label, basically. Well, not every single one, but let's say, for example, doctor's a label. Cat's a label, in a way. So it's a way you identify. Like, if I start calling a cat a rabbit, then when we start having a conversation about what to you is a cat and what to me is a rabbit, you're going to get very confused. Like if I tell you my rabbit ate a mouse the other day, you're going to be like, holy shit. You're going to be imagining Bugs Bunny like ripping off Mickey Mouse's head or something. No, it's just that to me, a cat is a rabbit. That's what I call it. I call it a rabbit. Now, words mean something. And so if we agree that what she did was the terrorist act, then she was the terrorist. All right? And so there's nothing wrong with calling a terrorist. There's something wrong with calling somebody who's not a terrorist. Let's say somebody who let's say you don't like, somebody who litters a lot. Your neighbor who litters, and you're like, man, that dude's a terrorist. You'd be like, no, you're kind of watering down what that word means. That dude's a litterer. It's probably a crime. So if you want to say he's a lawbreaker, sure. But he's not a terrorist, all right? Words have meaning. So mislabeling somebody, bad. Labeling somebody when it's the correct label is a good thing. It's how we understand each other. It's how we all agree what things mean. Anyway, then he proceeds to say, like, no, you think this was bad? With all the support, wait till you see the next guy. Watch when you see Flag Smashers 2.0. So basically, his argument is we need to give in to the terror because the next terrorist could be worse. It's literally the reason why you don't negotiate with terrorists, because it can only escalate. It's only gonna get worse unless you nip it in the bud. It makes, I have no idea what the hell the writers here were thinking. It makes no. It's beyond stupid. It makes no sense. And so this kind of, in a way, I'll culminate into how this whole plotline and everything culminates and stuff. And they want to make it racial when it doesn't make sense in the Marvel universe. Like, this is a world, like I said, I already have issues with the whole plot in general of them trying to save refugees, because the refugees are the people who are already there. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit. So this world is a world that's been invaded by aliens. And then a robot kind of tried to throw a city, make a city fall into the planet and effectively destroy the planet. So it's a world that's already tried to be destroyed several times, and where half of the population disappeared like that. So it's a world that's been through a lot. Now, usually, it's a common trope in stories, and it's a common trope in the world that enemies tend to unite you, you know? Enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if you guys ever, maybe spoiler alert, I don't know if you've ever seen The Watchmen or if you've ever read The Watchmen, whatever. A big plot point there is that the only way that nuclear war could be stopped is if we have a common enemy. And so, I don't know about you guys, but I think that the possibility of an alien invasion is something that would unite us. The idea of robots who want to throw a piece of our, like a giant comet on Earth and make us go into extinction would join us. The trauma of losing half of humanity would unite us. You would think, but no. Because the writers have a fucking agenda. The agenda doesn't really make sense on this. They really wanted to make a message here about race. And it would have made a lot more sense if you were talking about like an alien race. Because at this point, ethnicity doesn't matter. What matters is human race versus alien race. If you want to make that comparison, sure. All right, valid. That's a valid argument and makes sense within the MCU. Because that's the point. This is post-alien invasion world, all right? I don't care what color you are. There's aliens out there, man. I'll trust the human before I trust that dude that just came here with four freaking arms and try to eat me. Those things are scary. You are kind of a normal dude. We'll have a beer later. So, also, like I said, tragedy and fear tend to unite people. So imagine you go through a trauma and you go through it with other people. So here's the thing. The people who were left on Earth were probably very much united. Or because, again, half of the population disappeared like that. You're still with the fear that this could happen at any moment. We could just die. And you have to keep things going. You have to make sure that the machine keeps moving. You have to feed people. You have to... The world probably went to hell. Because what are you going to do with all the money was left? What are you going to do with... Like, planes probably... Because I'm assuming at least one pilot on the air disappeared. So planes had been crashing. Cars had been crashing. So there was a big fucking mess left everywhere that you need to fix. And the only ones left to fix it are the ones that are there. And you've lost at least probably one family member. Your neighbor probably lost another family member. You get united. You get close-knit. You're like, man, we went through this together. We survived this together. We banded together. We did it. It was our thing, and we powered through, and we're on the other side. And then you bring in other people who've had the same trauma, and they had to deal with all this stuff. And you're like, man, thank you. You were healed. You helped me. We did this together. We're a team. And all of a sudden, the blink of an eye, everybody else comes back, and you don't relate to them as much. They don't understand. The people who disappeared 5 years, they don't understand. They just For them, it was just a blink of an eye and then they're back. But the world changed. And you're like, dude, it's like, I'm happy that you're back, but you don't get it. You don't understand what happens. It's like, you know the expression, you never really come back home again. And I think it comes from the Lord of the Rings. Frodo, he could not be back on the Shire. The Shire was, everybody's happy and all that stuff, and he couldn't be there anymore, and because he went through a massive trauma, and he's like, no, I don't belong anymore. It's easier. Go to college, come back, and you'll be like, man, this just doesn't feel the same anymore. So to me, it doesn't make sense that the people who you were together with, the people who helped you, the people who you worked together, the people who helped you keep the machine running, you would just be like, hey man, fuck those guys, send them out there. Yeah, I know they came here when we needed them the most, and we bonded together through pain and trauma, and we were afraid for, another alien invasion. We're afraid for our lives. But you know what? Fuck those guys. My old homie came back. Like, you want to take care of the people who were there before, but you have a certain loyalty to the people that were there and who went through it with you, right? So there was a whole lot of mess that came from the blip, or from the snapping, a big one, and they just completely ignored it, and they went for the dumbest plot line possible. It makes no sense for them to get rid of the people who are there helping. It makes way more sense that they should have gotten rid of the people the refugees should have been the people who just came back, and they're like, well, what am I supposed to live? I don't know. Somebody else is already living there, and that person is helping right now. That person has a job. This person is important. You just came back, and we'll try to find room for you. But guess what? We don't have enough food for everybody. So right now, and we don't have enough houses for everybody, and that's my alarm for work. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up a little bit. So it doesn't really make much sense. And let me see the chat here real quick. Sam Adams. It's like the word idiot. It's like the word idiot. Like, now Sam defending terrorism makes him an idiot. Sure. Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the words mean something. Yeah. You're right. Something like that would unite the earth in this universe. Worrying about race issues now after everything that's happened seems petty. Yes. It's petty, and it's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So again, it's just stupid, and you can tell that the writers are trying to force something that doesn't make sense in that world. Moving on. So you get to see Bucky say goodbye to Agent. Oh, this whole argument's just dumb. It's dumb. It makes no sense. And even that dude tells him, like, hey, you know what? You don't understand. That doesn't really understand. I'm sorry. Like, you don't get it. What are we supposed to do with all the other people? Blah, blah. It's like, okay. And Sam says, well, it doesn't matter, or don't think about it, or whatever. It's like, dude, context matters. Context is important. Let me see Sam here. What would have worked if Sam opened a therapy session group for people who came back from the blip like him and trying to adjust the world? That would have been interesting. Again, seeing people try to adjust the world. In fact, you know what? A major flaw of this show is that they didn't show you, like, the life Carly had before the everybody came back. Like, let's see. All right, was the world really united? That's weird. All right, this is really weird. The Flag Smashers wanted to make the world go back to the way it was during the 5 years after the blip, but they never show you that world. Apparently, that world is peaceful, and everybody's happy, and everybody's united. And all of a sudden, all those peaceful, happy, united people say, "Go fuck yourself, new guy." It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's stupid. It's stupid. Anyway, and so they keep doing this whole thing, and eventually, like, Falcon is like, all right, now I'm Captain America, deal with it, basically. And Sharon Carter basically gets promised her pardon or whatever, and Falcon goes off to do more heroics. Now, in the meantime, the three terrorists that were arrested by John Walker and Winter Soldier, they get into a truck, and in the truck, one of the USNC whatever agents says, "Hey, one world, one people," and they're like, "All right, this dude's our homie." And then all of a sudden, that truck blows up. And as we see, that truck was blown up actually by the butler of one Zemo. I guess it doesn't show up in this image here, but he gets blown up by the butler of Seymour. For a second, I was like, who the fuck is that guy? But I know it was Seymour's butler. And then we get to see it at the raft, the maximum security prison. We get to see Zemo in prison, and he hears in the news that the terrorists got blown up, and he's like, haha, I managed to kill all of them. Cool. I win. Zemo wins, and then he relaxes and keeps reading his book. So basically, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the raft is the maximum security prison that's in the middle of the ocean, and it's the one where at the end of Captain America: Civil War, that's where they sent Ant-Man, that's where they sent the Scarlet Witch, and that's where Captain America breaks everybody out from. So that's where that is. So if you guys remember, the last time we saw Zemo, he got taken in by the Wakandans, and the Wakandans took him to the raft. I assumed that they were gonna take him to prison in Wakanda, but I guess they sent him to the raft for reasons. I I don't know why the Wakandans would send him to the raft, but okay. All right. Next, let's see. So we get Elaine here. Now, Elaine is a character, but her character is a character actually in the Marvel universe, but like I said from the very beginning, I'm only going to use the information that they're given to us on the show. So far we know that Elaine is somebody important in the government, or could be. She's a shady character, but by the way, the character's name is not Elaine. I'm just calling her Elaine because she's Elaine from Seinfeld. Mary Louise Dreyfus. Anyway, so basically she gives John Walker a new suit and tells him like, "Hey, give me a call whenever you need it, whatever." And so we get to see his new suit. There's not an image of it, damn it. And so it's basically the same suit but black, and instead of having the star, it's like the American flag. And his new name is now U.S. Agent. So there you go. He's excited about that. Bucky goes to see the old Asian man from the beginning, who someone he killed, and basically he tells him like, "Hey, I'm sorry I killed your son." He says it in the worst way possible, by the way. He could have given him a lot of more context. He's like, "Hey, I was under mind control and stuff like that, and I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to do it, but I remember it, and it was my hands." But no, he doesn't really do that. He explains it in the worst way possible. But anyway, the message is still the same. So he tells the therapist, "Hey, I already said I did all my amends, so I cleaned up all my list." And so, does that thing say Soltero? Does it say Soltero? Soldier? I don't. Soldiers? I don't know. Seltzers? Whatever. Doesn't matter. And so it's like he says, "Thanks, Doc, but I'm moving on. I already did what I had to do. I accomplished whatever I wanted to do." Next, we see Falcon going to see Isaiah Thompson. Isaiah, the older gentleman who supposedly was the super soldier and who got imprisoned and got tested and experimented on. Who already said that storyline was really stupid last episode. Anyway, he goes and tells them like, "Hey, I want to show you something," and he brings to the Captain America Museum. And in the Captain America Museum, he shows them like, "Hey, look, we have a statue of you here so that people will remember you," which is a really nice thing. Honestly, it's good. You should remember the work that people have done. You should remember the heroes and what he did. It doesn't make any sense within the MCU or any world whatsoever, but if he did the things that he did, and even though they don't make much sense, okay, then it's an honorable thing and he should be honored. I don't know why remembering or making everybody remember that one of the first things that I would ask is like, how did they hear to, like, if I'm a government agent, and let's say I'm a government operative, and then the new Captain America shows up like, "Hey, we need to make a statue of this dude," and I'd be like, "How the hell did you hear about that dude?" So I'd immediately start looking into, is this dude still alive? Like, you're kind of sending a signal out there to make people think about him, right? This dude was supposed to be a secret, and nobody was supposed to know about him. How does this guy know? Maybe he's still alive. Anyway. But, all right. I mean, he wanted to give him the statue, and it's a nice statue. So there you go. I mean, they honored him. Next, we get to see like a whole big thing that they fixed up the boat, and they're setting up the new Wilson family business, and they're hanging out, and they're having a good time. And they have like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier have their own last bro moment right there. And the show ends with Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So I'm assuming that there might be another mini-series called Captain America the Winter Soldier. It's possible. They left definitely enough material there to work with, but I don't know. Last but not least, we get the special scene at the end with Agent Carter getting her pardon and being invited to take up her old job, okay? And so she takes up her old job, and she starts calling up one of her agents, and he says, "Hey, you know what? We lost the super soldier stuff, and because I was an idiot and I sent the dude who hates super soldiers into the super soldier lab, but I got us a new gig. So we're soon going to start getting access to a whole bunch of government stuff because I'm going to work as a double agent for the government, and that's going to be our new money. So let's start getting customers for merch we don't have yet." Cool. So that's her plan, and that's pretty much how the show ends. So that was it. That is it for Falcon the Winter Soldier. And overall, like I said, the show's just a bunch of missed opportunities. missed opportunities and a whole bunch of mistakes, and it's just stupid. Let me see. Okay, so missed opportunity number one, they could have actually shown us things that happened during the blip. You know, how life was for people there. Like, how was it really a united world? Were they really happy? What the hell was going on there? We could have been interesting to see. Never showed it to us. So that was stupid. Then there's a lot of themes there that they just ignore. Then, for example, and they miss. So, for example, a theme in the comic books about John Walker is that John Walker, Captain America, he is nationalist. He's a nationalist, and he's nationalism to the toxic degree. That's his issue. It's the sickest form of nationalism in a way. And then you have, on the other hand, you have the Flag Smashers, and the Flag Smashers are globalist, and they're globalist to the toxic level, to the worst degree. So you have nationalism, the toxic nationalism, and you have the toxic globalism, and they're kind of meeting head to head. But it's never actually expressed. It's never something that they actually explore. It's never something that they actually try to develop. It's not even hinted at, because they don't reach the toxic levels. And then you got Sam in the middle being like, dude, you're both crazy. Like, I get it. I kind of get both your sides, but both of you are crazy. Like, none of your plans, like you both suck. And so the story could have centered about that. Like, the issue with Captain America, and I mean Steve Rogers' Captain America, is that he was never a nationalist per se. Like, he was a patriot. But Steve Rogers, he had a lot of flaws, but his thing was Captain America, meaning the American people, meaning the American ideals. Steve Rogers went against the government. Like, he didn't care about the government. He cared about the American people. He cared, and then it extended to people in general who just believed in the same ideals. In fact, Civil War is pretty much that. Captain America being like, Steve Rogers being like, you know what, deuces. I'm not going to do something that goes against my morals. So he was an individualist in a way. And so it made him an interesting character, because, like, oh, he represents something more. He's not just an agent of the government. John Walker, on the other hand, pure agent of the government, pure nationalist, pure, like, all right, this is what the government says, this is what it goes. They never explored that here at all, which was stupid. And then you got the globalists who want to unite everybody by killing everybody. It's like, well, if half of the population is unhappy, kill half the population, everybody's happy. You know what I'm saying? And they never clashed that. And as far as we know, Sam, he's on the Captain America side. So he's on the side of, like, dude, I'm all for the country and for our rights and all that stuff, but you're doing it the wrong way. We should not just be trampling over all these people. It doesn't make any sense. And they never expressed that. This show could have been not about the dude refusing the shield, or deciding whether he wants or doesn't want the shield, because before the show began, we already know who was having the shield. Because you know what this show didn't change? It did not make Falcon into Captain America, because at the end of Endgame, we all assumed he was going to be Captain America, or he was at least going to use the shield. Because you know what? At the end of Endgame, he got the shield from Steve Rogers. You're the heir apparent. Like, here you go. All you have to do is take it. And so they wanted to make it in a very weird way, and they could have shown it like Sam is like, dude, I'm the new guy here. I don't understand what's happening. It's all weird. To me, things should be one way, but the world's changed, and I don't know if I'm the Captain America for this new world, because it's different. I'm an outsider here. I missed 5 years. I don't have 5 years of credit. And they just skipped it, or they ignored it, and it's a massive missed opportunity, because they're great themes. They're great themes that could have been explored, and they just didn't. And let me see the chat here a little bit. Trying to just, okay. Bucky was so shafted in the show. Also, there was a black guy in the Howling Commandos. Yes, but the Howling Commandos, I don't think they were super soldiers. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think they were super soldiers. I think they were just regular soldiers in World War II. And Bucky was so shafted. Yeah, Bucky got nerfed massively. Like, I've complained a lot about, the Falcon always getting his ass kicked, but the Falcon is just a dude. I know he couldn't beat up a French dude, but fine. He's just a dude. He's supposed to be a highly trained, expert at fighting and highly skilled individual, but he's just a dude. Bucky's a super soldier with a vibranium arm. Him not being able to take somebody down is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like, it's more insulting for Bucky. Every single, you know what? Like this. Every single bad thing I've said about Falcon not being able to do something or being competent anyway goes triple, quadruple, 10 times for Bucky. It's 10 times worse for Bucky. They just completely destroyed them. They destroyed them. The dudes who were in the middle of an alien invasion, holding their own like it was nothing, and they just completely got nerfed. Why? Because they wanted the plot or whatever. I don't know. Messed Man here. We got a Twitch here. This is the first time I caught on the show live. PogChamp. Live PogChamp? Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm aiming kind of for 2 p.m.-ish. I don't always make it, but man, that camera side have great resolution. I know professional streamers that have worse camera setups. Thank you. It's been a process. You do not want to see my first videos. The first videos kind of suck, but at least in quality. But hopefully it's getting better, and I appreciate you joining me there, Messed Man. The other chat here. The problem is there isn't a good story somewhere in this, but the agenda wanted to show as it's black and white. It's a shame. Yeah. The overall story was crap because the villain was crap and the plan was crap and it didn't really make any sense, and they wanted to force certain things that really didn't make sense in the MCU world. It was ridiculous. All right. The plot of the freaking show was ridiculous. So let's just quickly go, because again, I gotta go to work, but let's just quickly go through the things that changed from the show. Falcon is now Captain America, which we already assumed at the end of Endgame. So did we really need that? No. Bucky cleaned out finished his list. Do we really need to see? No, really, not really. I mean, hey, you know what? If you want to make a whole show of Bucky going through his list and apologizing to people or bringing them to justice, that could have been a show. And then Falcon being doing his own thing about then trying to reestablish the peace in the world because half of the population came back out of nowhere, and he's dealing with that as a normal dude. He's like, dude, what am I gonna do with my credit? What is it gonna do with no? I can't just do it for myself. I gotta do it for everybody. And then that would have been an interesting show. Both of those by themselves could have been interesting, but that's not what they did. So nothing really changed whatsoever with Falcon and Bucky. Nothing relevant. Sharon Carter, it turns out that she's the power broker, and now she's a double agent inside the government. That was something that changed. Simo got transferred basically to the Raft, and now he's a lot more likable of a character. But all right, I guess a prison transfer would have been enough. What else changed? Oh, we got the U.S. agent, U.S. agent John Walker. Now we got another super soldier there in the mix, and the introduction of another character who may or may not be relevant later on, and who I won't be touching. Other than that, Flag Smashers, all done. So that whole sect, done. Doesn't really matter. They're relevant. I can't think of anything else. Anything else that was relevant or important for this show to show. Because I can guarantee you, they're not going to go into the whole refugee thing again. Nah, it's just sweep it under the rug. It's not going to happen. So wasted opportunity, wasted time, stupid, nothing. I wouldn't even say that the action was oh, so great, I gotta watch it. No, the show sucked. It sucked from beginning to end. Wasted time. You guys should watch Invincible. That's actually a great show. So that's it for today. I don't have much more to say other than it sucked. I regret watching it. Well, not so much, because I enjoyed watching Agent 13 and Zemo until they completely ruined Agent 13 because her plan doesn't really make any sense. But whatever. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. I aim usually for 2 p.m. Sometimes when a now moderate attacks me, it takes me a little bit longer, but hopefully it'll be on track the rest of the week. As always, thanks for listening. And again, this is probably gonna be on my new blog gonna be in my new blog in rock1053.com. It's just gonna be the video. Let me just answer this thing real quick. No concerning the Falcon show, but did you watch Redo of a Healer or Eric? Yes, I haven't finished it yet, but we did start watching it. It's okay. We found the censored version, and the censored version sucks because it's instead of just cutting it out or doing something we're going to show you something and then it's going to be music or whatever or sound effects, it's just 40 seconds of nothing. So it's they're showing a wall for 40 seconds. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. So the censored version is really hard to watch. I'll probably watch the other version eventually, but that's it. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.